Alright, in this intermediate tutorial I'm going to take a closer look at proportional editing and material settings and how I use them at the same time to help control my model building process. So in the scene here I have this, well this is, believe it or not, this is a cylinder. So essentially what I had done, I came in here and added, went Shift A, cylinder, and press T, and I set this to 5 sides over here like that. So there's my 5-sided cylinder like that. And then SZ, scaled it down a little bit. So there it is. There is the cylinder. But you see all the colors I have on it. So what I do is I tend to color code these in advance with materials, similar to how I showed in some lessons this past week. Back when I was doing the backhoe, how it allows me easy access to certain portions of the model if I set the materials. So I would do the same thing on something like this. I'll kind of get you started and then you'll see. So I go to the material settings. Get rid of that menu over here first, and then typically I would say, well, here's 5 sides and a top and a bottom, so I have 7 materials. So I'd make enough slots for 7 materials, go into edit mode, grab just the top face, and say on this first one here I would say new. I might actually call it top or something like that, and I would give that, say, a certain color, and I would assign it. Well, actually, that picked the whole thing because there's no other materials for the whole thing. So that's all right. We'll just use that as everything else. So the next one, I'm going to say new. I'm going to say side 1. And maybe make that red. And I'll assign that. Right, and then I do the same thing over here. Pick a new slot. Call that side 2. And we'll make that blue. And assign it. Alright, well, so you get the process, so it doesn't matter. So it seems like a little bit of extra work, but in the long run it really makes it easy because then I have access to all these. Well, once I've done that, then I can go into my modifiers and do a subdivide on it. So I'll do subdivision surface maybe 4 times, something like that, and apply it. And there it is, and there's that same type object that I have over here. Alright, so let's go back to the original one anyway. Now you see the basic setup, and the reason I do that is then when I'm editing, I'll just move that over to layer 2. When I'm editing this object, it just gives me much more control over how I want to model. So maybe in this case, maybe I want to model an apple, because an apple has 5 feet. A lot of apples have those little 5 feet on the bottom, and then I have easy access to these points on the apple. I'll deselect everything. In this case, the colors do nothing more than they help me identify locations. So let me go and do vertex select. So I just grab that one, and that one, that one, that one, and that one. Let me center it on that. Alright, so there they are there. And then I have proportional editing, so let's use sharp. Sharp's probably not going to work, but we'll try it. And I might do GZ and extrude in Z. Might be a little bit too sharp for an apple point. Yeah, that would be too sharp, so I'll escape that and just do this smoother one here. So GZ, and maybe that'll form the basis of the feet for my apple as I go. And then I can start building as I want, or depending on whatever. Maybe you're making a tooth, or it doesn't matter, but it just allows me, then I can deselect and then come into here and then grab any of the materials that side and select that, and then maybe extrude that on, well, Y is not going to work in this case because Y would, because of the 5 sides. That's a little bit tricky in that way. Well, let's see if we can do it on the normal axis that way. Yeah, it'd be pretty good. Okay, we'll extrude this direction, so by default out there like this, and then maybe I want to scale that, and then I can just use my proportional editing to scale or make whatever. So it's just a powerful way to have control of certain aspects of the model. Here I can grab that red section right there. So the more things you set in advance before you subdivide and start changing things up, it might give you access to some parts of the model easier than to try and go in and manually, even selecting them like this. Or even, of course, you have your settings, so you can always, if you do this right, you can just have all your loops easy access like that. But all right, well, I hope that gives you some ideas to maybe help you build some of your own models, and I'll see you in the next lesson.